All right. This is Michael J. Coyle for Metal Temple, and I am here with Fernando from Moonspell. How are you doing today, man?
Great, man. And just, surviving today. It's a hard day, beginning of the week. We're almost going on tour, so now it's practicing, promo, the kid rambling around the apartment.
Yeah.
It's a busy day, but all's good.
Nice. So, it's been a while since Moonspell's actually done anything, hasn't it? And now with the new album Extinct, you guys will be even busier than you have been for a few years, haven't you?
Well, to be honest, I think the other day I just stopped to think a while, and I said, well, man, I've never been so busy in my life with everything. I'm a father now for almost 3 years, so that helps to being busy as well. But it's so overwhelming, but because we've been so many years on the scene, and obviously making a new album, it's very important for us all the time. And especially the longer you are on the scene, it seems like you have, at least to yourself, more to prove as a musician, as a songwriter. And it's still when you just set yourself and then you're going to release the album, there's still always this period of excitement, not only for the band, but for people that like us, for the fans.
Yeah.
And it's still quite a cool thing, to happen. People could just overlook it, but not, So that's what keeps us busy. It's not doing something that's not worth it. It's definitely still fighting for a place in the scene, still in a way being in touch with the fans through. I think always the best moment in the band's life through releasing a new album.
Yeah, honestly, the last record you guys released was a very big step in the way. A big step in your journey as a band. But what I wanted to ask was about the artwork, because I noticed that the artwork was very similar to the last album, and I was wondering who was behind that.
Well, it's been from Night Eternal up to Alphenwar, and then nowadays Extinct, that we've been collaborating with the singer of Septic Flesh, Seth Zero Anton, and he plays on the band, but he also has his career as an artist, and he's contributing to a lot of metal covers, and he's definitely a name on the scene of cover designers right now. And for Moonspell, I really feel that he really captures very well, and is not afraid to play with it on his artwork, on the stuff he does, the horror and beauty, and I think our music really relates to both things, and sometimes whatever dark metal, gothic metal, it started up to be very in a way not like this, always about beauty and about sagas and about fairy tales, and with Moonspell is a bit different. There's a little bit of more of a pain inside of it. There's a little bit of a dark side that is actually very dark, and that is nothing that I fabricated in a way. And I think Seth, as an artist, has really definitely a talent to put this into pictures.
Very fascinating. That's actually. I've noticed that a lot of gothic metal and a lot of dark metal comes out of Italy. Would you say that the scene over there has actually grown stronger over the years with your music, as well as other bands like Lacuna Coil actually adding along to the scene?
Well, we're quite different, and we remember Lacuna Coil coming into the scene as well, and they definitely set ourselves up the scene, especially in North America. Also because of this difference, they were one of the first bands around also to have a female singer, sing that kind of stuff. I think for the south of Europe, it's always a little bit harder to convince people, because people they have regions like Scandinavia or US or UK or Germany where metal is already very certificate. You kind of don't. It's not the big surprise if you hear a gothic band from Germany or power metal from the UK. But when it comes to countries like Italy, Greece, Portugal, Spain, people are still a little bit, unaware that there is a scene there, that people also feel that kind of music. They also may want to make bands. So it's not a big scene. It's more made of occasional things like us and Septic Flash and Lacuna, and but it kind of adds a little part into the balance of the scene as well. But we know perfectly that the scene is dominated, especially by Scandinavian bands, and sometimes it's hard to explain. Hey, we're coming from this country, and our music is great as well, so you got to check it out. But I think all these countries, we have to fight more, but it's also better because then we get more recognition from our very own crowd back here.
So as well, I wanted to ask, this is a question I've always wanted to ask you, as a musician over the years, what were the first influences that inspired you to take the role of a frontman in a gothic dark metal doom band?
Well, it kind of just happened by itself. Obviously I joined the band. We had no plans of playing live. We just wanted to basically to get in the dark room, and talk about our ideas and to put them into music. But then, the band started to get more interested. We started to get more serious about it, and we started playing live. So I remember very well the first show we did with Moonspell was back in 93, long time ago. It was like 100 people to watch us, many friends of us, also people that have heard us from the underground scene here and there at the time. And it was a very special show, our first show, because I remember it very well. We did thousands of shows after this, but I had this feeling that I wanted to do more of this stage thing, because I really felt that I was at my best there. So things then, you just start observing other people. There were people that were very important to me as singers, as frontmen. Like Carl McCoy from Sons of Nephilim, Andrew Aldridge from Sisters of Mercy, Peter Steele from Typo Negative, also people like Tom G. Warrior or Quarton from Bathory. I listened to a lot of stuff right there back in the day. It wasn't that there were so many micro styles in metal and in dark music that there is today, where people listen folk, Viking, pagan, Ethan. Sometimes I can follow up. In my times, things were really simple. There was bands I liked because they were dark, not necessarily only metal bands, but a lot of metal bands and a lot of dark bands as well. So definitely, I look up to no man is an island. You always have some stuff that you observe when you are a teen or a kid or even a growing man. You have always people to learn from, definitely.
I certainly agree with that. I mean, over the years, I've even noticed that a lot. There now in the 21st century, there's so many subgenres of metal that it's hard to keep up with. I mean, everything used to be a very simple area, but I will say that one of the things I grew up with, of course, was stuff like Hellhammer and Celtic Frost, and Tom Warrior has been a massive inspiration to myself as well. And I've had the chance of meeting him 4 times, and he's a very nice gentleman to talk to. He's a very
definitely.
He is, and I get to see him again at Hellfest, which I'm looking forward to. So with the future of Moonspell right now, if I'm correct in asking this, you guys have a London date, if I'm correct.
Yeah, we got a London date at the end of the European tour. Septic Flash is not doing that date, unfortunately. They are going to Inferno Festival in Oslo, which is great for them. Too bad for the fans that wanted to see them there. But we have replaced them with the Lacrimas Profundere, which is a German gothic metal band, very good band as well. I mean, actually, we are always trying out to make more dates in the UK. We love to play London. Actually, back in '95, when we started playing abroad, London, it was the first city we ever played outside our own country.
Oh, really?
But we always trying to work hard also to go to other places. And the plan for this Road to Extinction tour was definitely to go to other places and to make also our debut show in Dublin, in Ireland. But it just fell through. So, even though we're doing this European tour, and then we go to the US and Canada and Mexico, and then obviously we will return just in time for the festivals. A UK tour just with a couple of dates besides London, it's in our plans. But so far, yeah, it's going to be on the 2nd of April, on the last days of the tour. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be making sure to go to that show myself. I've been going to London more.
All right,
and more.
cool.
I live in the Manchester area, but I'm definitely going to try and make it down, because honestly, it was a real treat when, like I said before, to see you guys in 2009. When I first saw you guys, I was blown away by the energy that all of you had on stage, and I was really blown away. And it's 6 years since I saw you guys. It was a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Now I got a beard. Back then I had only a stubble. Now I got a whole beard. So, on the recording process of Extinct, what were your main goals in the recording process, and were there any things you wanted to try and go for? Like, were there any new aspects you wanted to place into this compared to the last recordings?
Well, we wanted to approach these recordings differently. Alpha Noir and Omega White were albums that were mixed in Denmark. We recorded the drums there. But all in all, it was much more of ourselves doing the work. So this time around, we thought, let's work old school again with a producer, with a professional. Let's track there. So it was a totally different process, because actually the whole band was there for the whole of the recording. There were 35 days in Sweden plus 15 days in Portugal. So it was a long time that we've been in studio. And the idea behind that, also to have the whole band, was also to have more of a band presence in every aspect. So one thing is it works, but one thing is to have the guys in Portugal and me recording vocals. They are not there at the time. If I need, let's discuss this or let's try. I have to go on Skype. I have to show them. So in our time, when we started recording albums, it was like this. We just got stuck in the studio, and we just concentrated on that, and that's what we did for Extinct as well. So the recordings were about spending enough time on studio and to drink from that atmosphere so much that our performance as musicians will get better, and I think it did. For everything, everybody evolved in a way. It's not a very, let's say, in your face like kind of record with heavy guitar. It's something more insinuating, more melodic, but I think there's a great musical work being done there, and for sure you have to be there, and you have to take time, and you have to dedicate yourself 100% just to the music. While we record in Portugal, we have families, we have everything, we love them, but in the end of the day, just taking care of stuff, you cannot do work, and you cannot dedicate yourself fully as the job needs and as your passion needs. So this time around, we went to Sweden, and we were totally isolated for most of the time, just with the producers.
So one thing I'm wondering is, though, for the recording of the album, did you have a particular vision as well that you wanted to go through of this as well? Like, before recording, were there anything you personally wanted to approach this by? Like, as you said, it's different. All the band was in there, but as a vocalist, was there a certain vision that you saw for this album?
Well, definitely. I wanted to sing a little bit more. Obviously, and I wanted to work on my accent as well, on my English. I want to definitely, I'm 40, I'm going to be 41, and when you are at this age, I think you can get very easily stuck into a comfort zone, because you start thinking yourself that an old dog doesn't learn new tricks, and you're just starting, just to get the wrong impression of being a musician, which is always to look forward, and always try to progress in the thing you do. So, making better vocals and making more complicated vocals and singing higher notes and everything was a challenge I put myself, because it's a very different record for me as a singer than most of all the other records from Moonspell. So there was, I think, definitely a conscious option to go to something that will definitely would definitely keep me more busy and demand more from me. But I think it's the right thing to do at this age, and the same goes for for Moonspell. It's 23 years as a band. We have our fans, we have our circuit, but we cannot forget that the music has to remain fresh and interesting. Otherwise, nothing else, kind of holds as well. So I think that we always, since the beginning of our career as a band, we've always been very focused into making of our music definitely the thing that people talk about and the thing that we spend most time doing. I think that's definitely the origins of everything.
Well, no, I can definitely say over in the UK that Moonspell's made a big impact, especially on a lot of newer bands. I mean, especially in Manchester. There's a lot of Gothic bands that have come out of the woodwork, all thanks to the material of Moonspell. And
all right, cool.
I have to say that through your 23 years, as you said, you have made a massive impact. But as well, what I'm wondering is, out of the newer bands that have come out all thanks to this, which bands would you say you've really found that have actually taken it to that next level in the 21st century?
Well, it's always hard for us. We were so involved in the 90s that sometimes we get a little bit cynical when we come, to appreciate the new bands. Obviously, a band that changed my life, and they still made albums in the 2000s, was Typo Negative. I think they really struck a chord when they came into the scene, for me especially with Bloody Kisses.
Of course.
It was an album that changed my life, changed my way of seeing love as well, and live and women, but also as a musician, as a singer, was something that I said, well, this is beautiful, definitely I want to try to do this as well, hopefully not ripping them off, but trying to have an influence, and sometimes obviously I like metal, and I think that even the veteran bands, I loved the Black Sabbath album 13. I was blown away by it. Not that I was not expecting a good album, but I wasn't expecting an album so alive, with so much vitality.
I agree.
So that was definitely a big thing coming up, and I think that sometimes I also tend to look a little bit outside metal with for some new emotions. I really like stuff like Chelsea Wolf, and I really like stuff like Beast Milk and Death Heaven.
I love Beast Milk.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because all these people also come from metal bands, and some bands from our generation, but they do have a passion for dark music, and the scene they moved in. I remember, being very fresh and interesting. I remember it reminds me of the scene Moonspell was born in the 90s. Even though it was a metal scene, there was bands like Tiamat, there was bands like Celtic Frost, there was bands like us, Paradise Lost, that were bands that were not your conventional metal band, but people still loved because, they kind of had this avant-garde spirit, and they kind of trying to make something new and fresh into the scene as well.
I actually totally agree. I mean, especially with Beast Milk. I mean, Beast Milk are a fantastic band. I saw them support In Solitude in Manchester.
All right.
And
good band as well, yeah.
Yeah, they were so interesting. They had this big blocked TV with their name on it. I'm thinking, what's that doing there? Are they gonna smash it? Are they gonna do something with it? But they had such a strong sound. I was not expecting that, and I get what you mean. Like, it's good to find bands like that have the inspiration, but do something new with it, something that's not totally going off track, but has a very new feeling to it. And I think in the 21st century, especially, it's hard to find bands that can really take it to that new level, because sometimes you find bands who are really trying to follow the same formula over and over, but when you find bands like that, it kind of blows you away, and makes you appreciate the uniqueness of bands like that. So, I guess for my final two questions, now with my interview, I do this one random question. It's a bit of a scenario question.
Right.
Imagine you're on a desert island, and there's no way of getting off, but like one of your classic cartoon desert islands with a palm tree, coconuts, and all that, and you're only allowed two items. One is food, and one is a physical item. Out of that, what will you choose for your one dish of food and also your one physical item?
Well, for food, I thought about that before. because it's almost going on tour. And I think that a can of tuna, because will be definitely a good thing to have on the desert island. And we have very cool canned tuna back here in Portugal. About a physical item, well, I would like to have like a souvenir from my kid, like something like a toy or whatever.
That's awesome.
Typical Castaway stuff, then I can talk to it and get crazy,
So basically, instead of having a football with a handprint in blood, that's pretty awesome. And finally, do you have anything to say to the people listening at home?
Well, I have to thank you for the interview, and cheers to everyone that still follows up Moonspell. It's been quite a ride for us from Portugal. We never quite expected to be here and to do a new album, to talk about it so often as we do it, and to go on tour. As far as the UK goes, we definitely want to be back with another date, that not just London. We love to play London, but there's fans, as you say, all around the UK as well, that definitely are waiting for our visit, and definitely we want to do it. Time is always an issue, but let's see if we can still do it on 2015. And if you're looking into something more alternative inside dark metal, gothic metal, even from a veteran band, just check out our new album, Extinct. There's a lot of musical landscape to be traveled over there, and I sure hope you like it. So cheers from Portugal.
And this one from me, I'm looking forward very much to reviewing the album tonight. I was given the link today for the new album, and honestly, I'm very excited for this. The last album was terrific, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this new record holds in store for the listeners' keen ear. So, all right. So for me, this is Michael J. Coyle, and thank you very much for listening. Stay tuned for more.